This episode of the Closeout Bodyboarding podcast is proudly presented to you by Limited Edition Fins. Shane, I've always wanted to know, what's the big difference between the original Limited Edition fins and the new Psylocke fins?
Benny, the Psylocke fins are bigger and wider than the original LE foot pockets. So basically when you try them on, they'll actually be a size up. Psylocke's fit really well in half sizes to the original fins. So I used to not be able to fit into the larges in the original LE fins, but I fit perfectly into the Psylocke large. So I just recommend everyone, if you weren't comfortable in the original LEs, go in and try on a new Psylocke's.
Awesome. Thanks, Shane. Back to you in the studio. Welcome back to the Closeout Bodyboarding podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Benny Oborn. Joining me as usual on the big square table, Shane Britton. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. I've brought the energy after a little feed.
About time.
We've just been to Little Marley.
What a place.
Yeah.
Does the goods every time.
Not as much active wear around that area at noon.
No. Not quite the same standard as Burleigh Pavilion, but that's okay. Joining us for special comments, obviously still in the building, Benny Wells.
Hello.
Thanks for sticking around.
No worries.
And
no choice.
The breakfast burrito was worthwhile waiting for.
I want this. Our kind of main guest today is an absolute champion, and I mean that in so many ways. Good bloke, can surf, also four-time ABA Pro Tour champion, probably won 57 other events, around that as well with state titles, etc., etc. Lachlan Cramsie. Woo!
G'day, mate.
Cramsie.
Thanks for that welcome, mate.
Oh,
please.
You're welcome.
Talk
You're
me up a bit, yeah. Oh, now I feel great.
Hey.
Oh, my God. Jeez, it's all happening here.
Lucky you didn't push the wrong button there.
Yeah.
Just a fart. The sad trombone. Well, you've also been in the queue to come on this podcast. You should have got your shit together and got down last time.
Dodged us multiple times.
Yeah.
I know. No, it's good to finally be here and get this going. So
Hooray!
Pretty happy.
But before we get stuck into it, mate, obviously, there was a reason why you couldn't get down to catch up with us last time. Can you give us a bit of a health update?
Health update?
Yeah, health
What was going on last time? I've had some health updates.
You're right.
Just a bung eye, mate.
Oh, that's right. I was a pirate for a bit.
A bit.
For a bit, yeah. So we'll get straight into it. So I got shit eyesight at the moment. There's a whole background why I haven't really been bodyboarding heaps, but my eyesight's shit. So I just had one surgery a couple of months ago on my right eye to get a pterygium done, and I got to get my left one done also, which I'll do after this summer, and then couple of months after that, I can actually get laser
Which
surgery.
is correction surgery, right?
Yeah, which is correction surgery. So these first two are just to get rid of the pterygiums, which aren't too bad, but they can't do the actual laser surgery unless I get rid of them.
Extremely painful surgery.
The surgery is okay. The recovery sucks.
Yeah.
It's pretty shit.
Hurts to blink.
Well, yeah.
Sunshine.
You don't blink, do you? You got to keep it covered for.
Yeah, you got to keep it covered. So
What was the time period for?
It was completely covered for 3 days, and then I sort of had it open, like super dark sunnies, but that was still in a room pretty much for another sort of week. And I was going absolute batshit crazy that first week, and I was like, look, I want to get back to work. I just want to sit and at least get outside, sit in the tower. So I tried to get back to work and do a day's lifeguarding. And I was with a mate. I was like, look, I'm not getting in the water kind of thing. I'm there to be eyes and kind of look out. And then
Eye for that matter.
trying to
Singular.
And within like the first half an hour, I was looking out and I was going, this is torture. So I had to go home. So at least 2 weeks sort of recovery. And I was going pretty crazy, just sitting in my room.
So after the laser surgery, which it will whatever you want to call it, will that remove the need for you to wear glasses?
Yeah.
As in not sunglasses, but your opticals?
Yeah. So I should be it should be just about 100%.
20/20 vision?
Yeah, which I legitimately have never had. So I'm pretty excited for that, to be honest. And yeah.
Can you explain to us sort of what you've been experiencing before the surgery, like that's led you to this? Because you and I have talked about it in depth a lot of times.
Yeah.
But, when you're out in the surf in particular, can you just explain to everyone what you're seeing or particularly not seeing?
Yeah, so it's super hazy out there. On most days, I mean, on the sunny coast and that, where the swell period's short, it's not too bad. But once I go overseas, so for instance, the biggest one that made me really pissed off, the last time I went to Chile a handful of years ago, the surf is pretty big. The period's kind of big over there, but it's overcast all the time. So all I'm
foggy.
I'm seeing is the same sort of colour. So as those waves come in, I can't really determine where the lip is until it's 5-10 metres in front of me. So I don't know what waves I'm really looking at until it's super close, and that's just like such a big disadvantage. Not saying that I went shit there because I had a red hot crack, but I just couldn't see very well, and that pissed me off heaps. So
is it like a depth perception thing, or
it's just colours? Like the colours are super the same, especially because it was super grey there. The water's super dark. If I got like super blue water and maybe a grey sky, or super brown water and a blue sky, I'm okay. But still, when it's a big period and that, I can't see. I've tried contacts and that. Contacts are okay, although, like I said, I got pterygium, so even the contacts, they don't sit in there right. And
what can you explain pterygium? Like, it's like bumps on your...
It's a growth over your eye. It's basically skin growing over your eye. A lot of surfers and bodyboarders and all that kind of get it, especially from their younger years. Ben, I think you've got one.
Yeah, I've got a few.
As well,
it's just outdoor exposure.
Yeah.
A lot of tradies have it, they don't wear sunnies and stuff
just
like that.
Just another one of your health issues, mate.
Just add it to the list.
Yeah.
Which year journal was that in?
Ever-growing list. No, I've still got it. I don't want to have that surgery.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound fun.
If you can hold it off, I'd suggest do it, but if you got to get it done, it's all right. The surgery's
I think
fine.
they do classify it as somewhat of a cancer that's like growing on the inside of your eye because it's from sun exposure.
Yeah.
Is it in particular like an East Coast thing because you're looking into the sun when you're surfing in the morning?
First thing in the morning.
I'd say so, yeah.
You constantly look like you're stoned as well. Like, because your eyes are just bloodshot and red every time. And then if you haven't been out in a while and then you just go out in blistering sun without wearing sunnies, you look like you've been on the reefer for quite some time.
Yeah. So I've got one eye done now and one eye that's not done. So
and you can even see that this morning when you turned up.
Yeah.
One was clear.
Yeah.
Which was the one you've had surgery on. The other one was red.
So it just looks like I got pink eye in one eye, really.
That's not how I put it, but yeah.
So, yeah, great. I either look stoned all the time or now I just got pink eye at the moment. But, yeah, after this summer, I'll get that second one done and then I'll get that surgery. So, pretty bloody keen.
So there's a comeback. A comeback.
Yeah, I'm pretty keen. So, yeah, long story short, like I've had... I spend so much time in the ocean still, but bodyboarding-wise, I can't really compete at the moment with this eyesight, and all it does is just annoy me. So,
lucky there hasn't been a lot of events to compete in.
Well, as bad as it is, I guess COVID hit at the right time for that because it died in the arse real hard. Obvious, everything did competition-wise because you couldn't travel, but yeah, that was kind of when I started to take a break and chill out a little bit, I guess, with bodyboarding. So, yeah.
Basically, you hadn't stopped. You've just been this competitive machine since the ripe old age of 13 or before.
Yeah, I've always loved competing, and I always want to be the best and compete at the best level I can, whatever it was. Like I did a couple of stand-up surfing comps back in the day, but yeah, the nippers, surf life saving, bodyboarding. Everything. I wanted to be the best at it.
You know what Ricky Bobby says, mate? If you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah, that's it. And that's how I felt. But yeah, at the end, those last couple of Aussie comps and that Chile one and stuff, I was just like, look, there's no way I'm going to be at the top or be doing as well as what I'm hoping I could be.
What frustration has that led to? Like,
It just pissed me off in the water, to be honest, especially on a bodyboard. Like, you're sitting so low. So, say if I lifeguard, so I'll be on my knees on the lifeguard board. It's a little bit better because I can get a bit more perception of what it is, of what's coming and that. So, that's okay. But sitting on a bodyboard, surfboard, whatever, especially in bigger waves, Oh, it was just shit. I couldn't see until I'm pretty much paddling for the wave what the section's going to do or what's happening or what I'm paddling for. So, yeah, the struggle was a bit real for that, but all good. I'm looking forward to next year. Hey,
I can see clearly now the rain has gone.
Yeah, like I said, I pretty much have never been able to see 100%. Well, I haven't. So that's going to be pretty cool. I'll actually be able to see your face, Benny.
Hey.
Be careful what you wish.
It's a face made for radio.
Yeah. Get ready for disappointment. You know what, mate? Your mum thinks I'm hot.
These jokes always come out, don't they?
Obviously, on the topic of your mum, that came out wrong, didn't it?
It was going to be in here somewhere, wasn't it?
Mate, let's go back to the very beginning. Obviously, you come from a really good family who have been super, super supportive of you from a very young age. But, mate, again, just paint the picture. Mate, obviously, Lachlan Cramsie, 4-time ABA Tour champion. Mate, you living on the sunny coast?
Yeah, back on the sunny coast now. So,
SC. Did you grow up there?
Yeah, pretty much. So I lived in Brizzy when I was really young up until, let's say, 10, 11 years old. And moved to the sunny coast. This is where the parent support came through because I started doing surf lifesaving nippers and all that. And I started really, not thriving, but I really enjoyed it. So my dad loves the ocean. My family loves the ocean, but we're in Brizzy for...
Your dad's also been very involved in sports.
Exactly. So, we were happy to move up the coast and move towards the beach to sort of help that active ocean sort of lifestyle that I wanted, which is awesome. I can't thank my parents enough for that. So that's probably where it all started, ocean-wise, for me.
You're doing nippers. You've already mentioned that you did a couple of stand-up surfing comps as well.
Yep.
When did bodyboarding probably become a focus? Because for me, my first introduction to you was at a state round. So I obviously hadn't seen you before that. And even then you were just super focused, super driven.
You were pretty competitive in the life.
Yeah, super competitive. Hey.
So what age did you start nippers?
It wouldn't have been crazy young, but yeah, like 10 probably. Oh, yeah, not 9 or 10 probably, and then...
And that was an introduction to the ocean as well, or were you guys travelling from Brisbane?
No, that was it. So I didn't, obviously from Brizzy, look, let's say, I'm sure my parents got me in the ocean and that, but when I first started getting into waves, catching waves, swimming, body surfing, anything in the ocean would have been then, and it just kept going from then, I reckon.
Which club?
Maroochydore.
Yeah.
Yeah, Black Swans. Yeah.
Which famous Ironman have come from there?
There's been a handful. Look, the sunny coast is really strong.
It's a hotbed.
Yeah, it is. Between sunny coast and Goldie, there's a handful down the coast, but yeah, there's been a lot. Hey, there's been a lot. And a handful of my mates now are still competing and doing all that stuff, so it's always good to watch them. I still love watching them.
Doing the Nutrigrain too?
It's a friggin' hard sport.
Yeah.
And like the hours they put in training, from getting up at 3:30 at the pool, lunchtime, like if they're working, which most of them have to, because that's another sort of sport where you're not making millions.
Yeah.
So they go to work, they'll have to go train on lunch, and then they'll go for a ski paddle, board paddle, something in the arvo, and then they're running at night time. So they don't get a break. So.
And where did the bodyboard come from there?
So just love the ocean. I was sort of surfing a fair bit too, stand-up surfing with mates, and a couple of snaps off the lip. Yeah, that's it. Couple of kapows. And so it's a weird story, but I actually broke my arm, I don't know, playing footy or something. I don't know. When I was a kid, I was doing heaps of dumb shit. I probably still do, to be honest. But, broken arm. I couldn't surf. I was in a cast up to just below my shoulder sort of thing, my bicep. And as it started healing, it felt okay. So I couldn't surf. So I was getting on a bodyboard and just kind of like just holding on with the cast. And the swell was really big for pretty big for a couple of weeks. So there was only sort of one wave on the coast, good old Mooloolaba on the Lullaby Spit there where it's just a closeout sort of thing. So just pull into barrels, and at that age, it's so exciting. I still love doing it, but yeah, just pulling into closeouts with a broken arm and a cast on, that was what got me going, I reckon, hey, to really start sort of bodyboarding. And then after the arm healed, I kind of started continuing bodyboarding and not standing up as much. And I don't know, say after a year or two of that, I was like, what's the go? Like, what's the future for this? And there's the Sunny Coast Bodyboard Club, a few local comps, and I rocked up to a couple. I think the first one I rocked up to, the surf was big, and I was, 12 or 13 or something, and I actually didn't go out. I remember I was a bit nervous to start off. I didn't know how to compete, didn't know what to do. I don't even know if they held the comp. It was at Coolum one year, many years ago, and yeah, I just kind of watched a couple of the boys out there, and I was like, this is freaking awesome. Like, the waves are really good for bodyboarding then. I remember a few guys doing some big airs, and that was when Novi, Stoney, there was big names. Sharpie. There was big names competing, and like watching that stuff go down, especially on the Sunny Coast where the surf's generally pretty crap, watching big tricks go down on bodyboards in a comp.
I know what you mean, mate. Ann Street, world-class wave.
Oh, yeah, isn't it? Especially the comps we've had there. It's sick, hey? Almost a foot.
Yes.
Almost a foot. So, yeah, that's my story behind how I sort of started getting into bodyboarding, which is weird. So
there you go. That's your story. We can probably just wrap it up.
We were looking for an early day, actually, weren't we?
There we go.
Off to the pub, boys.
Hey.
The belly pav, eh?
How was it sort of, was there much of a crossover between the life-saving stuff and bodyboarding?
Yeah.
Like, were you doing that both for a while?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, obviously, at the start, the surf life-saving dominated, and I was chasing that a lot more.
What was your key events in that?
The Ironman and swim, I'd say. The Ironman and swim. I did boards a lot and love boards, but the Ironman, because it's kind of more demanding, more cardio sort of thing, it's a bit longer. And the swim, because I, like, coming from Breezy, I was always pool swimming. So I was pretty good at that. But obviously swimming up and down a black line in the pool gets pretty bloody boring after a few years and thousands of hours in the pool. So
no wonder your eyes are fucked.
Well, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Let's blame it on that.
Black line fever.
Yeah.
Sounds like South Africa all over again.
Jeez.
What sort of level did you make in lifesaving?
What did I win? I think I won a Queensland Ironman maybe, or
No big deal.
What state title?
Nah.
Yeah, I'm starting to think back, because that was, so I sort of stopped doing that at 17, so I would have been 16, 15 sort of thing when I was sort of peak for that. I remember winning one, and there was me and another bloke that were really close, and I got low. I went out the right way, I took a rip out, and he got hit by a couple of waves, finished, and I was over the moon for getting that win. And that was probably a highlight of my career. The surf was fairly big, as like pretty solid then too. So, yeah, that was another reason why I enjoyed it. Just more time in the water. That's probably why my eyes are cooked. The hours I spent in the water as a young kid was out of control.
With that stuff, do you wear swim goggles in those races?
Usually wear swim goggles, and I had my script or like prescription goggles. But they weren't made for, like, racing, so it was like I was wearing these shitty goggles. And so coming in, I'd be getting pissed off, can't see stuff. So I'm ripping my goggles off halfway in, trying to see the waves and stuff like that. Like, yeah.
It's a bit of a kind of pattern coming on here. He's just pissed off all the time.
Yeah,
he's angry.
I have said that a bit, haven't I?
Is there maybe something else you want to get off your chest while you're in good company?
I know, right? You boys are just making me real pissed off.
Mate, we've barely started the questions.
Oh, I know, right? So, but yeah, I did that until when I started bodyboarding, and I probably maybe even got first sponsor, which is Ben at Inverted. then I started leaning towards that when I was, what do you reckon, then 14, 15-ish?
14, 15, you sort of lent more towards that sport.
Yeah. So I started bodyboarding a bit more. I was obviously doing the local comps and then my first QABs and state titles. I remember my first one, I came down here to D-Bar and, just so nervous, but I just love that competing, the whole competitive side. And even though I was so nervous and kind of freaking out about it all, it's just, it's exciting.
Ben, do you recall how you guys met?
Yeah, I do. I actually think it was through Curtis Parter. Originally, because my memory serves me right. Both him and Lloyd were running the Sunshine Coast Bodyboard Club at that stage. And I just remember Curtis, obviously being a Maroochydore boy himself as well, just saying, you have to watch this kid. And just the competitiveness, hadn't really seen anything else like it, to be honest. Like, just you see some kids and you're like, oh yeah, cool, you stuff well. But the productivity that I remember just watching Lockie do in like 30 minutes, you're just like, wow, did that just happen? Like, how many things can that kid do on one wave?
The competition for kids that surf really good.
Yeah. But I reckon that was fairly early on in the piece. That would have been, you would have only been just 14, I reckon, at that stage. Maybe a smidge earlier. And I do remember Paul and Judy, like they were sort of steering you more towards surf lifesaving at that
they
point.
wanted me to continue doing that for sure, because that was like kind of my dad's background, lifeguarding and doing all that stuff. But then I started thriving in bodyboarding sort of thing. So
I'm real glad you did, mate.
Yeah,
you've done well.
I'm glad too.
What was the so back, the first big deal with Inverted? Obviously, it was hot competition. Epos was after you at the same time.
Yeah, so pretty much.
How much money was on the table here? How many stickers?
Couple of stickers.
Couple of teas.
Keep in mind inflation.
5 to 10. Yeah, a couple of % off stickers, let's say.
They get stickers these days, so.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Inflation too.
Comes out of the budget.
It was super close. And I remember going into Epos. I went into Inverted. And like Ben, I'm so glad I went with Ben. I love Eppo. I see him all the time as well, and we've always got along. But Ben just supported me so hard through the last 10, 15 years. It's been like first ever sponsor, still with me now, supporting me.
It's definitely been towing the line, mate.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks for.
He's not too pissed off when he's with me.
Never.
That's right.
It's only around us.
So I'm narrowing it down now.
I've lost my train of thought. Let's talk a little bit more about that kind of Sunny Coast bodyboarding community and those club events. Again, there was that generation that was just a little bit older than you that you looked up to. That was the K, that was Novi, had Jono, etc. But, even coming up alongside you in your kind of age bracket, you had Joey Orm and a couple other guys that were pretty good.
Yeah, there was a lot, hey.
Yeah, I remember everyone comparing you to Thor.
Torpedo.
Yeah, he was a freak. He was from down this way. So we'd see him in the QABs and, we'd have him and, it was tight. And then once we got to the Australian titles, we got all the boys in my age group from WA. Wingers, George, Louis.
The Amigos.
The three Amigos. Oh, yeah. So that was super tight.
Tough
we all
crowd.
get along so well. But competition-wise, it was tight.
Yeah, cutthroat.
And, the boys obviously above me, like those names you just said earlier, like that was sick to grow up and watch the videos firstly, but also watch them in the water with those Queensland most of them were from Queensland, those big dogs. So, it was sick to watch them at even the QABs, the first couple of QABs. If you got D-Bar at 3 foot plus, like watching Rawlins, watching all those guys, it was hectic. It was so
D-Bar
cool.
always has been and always will be a skate park.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the best, natural kind of practice ground for bodyboarding. It's got everything. Do you remember some of the quabs that we did down like at Brunsey and stuff?
I remember one we did. It was too big, so we had it at Brunswick, I think. And
was this when it was like pissing down rain?
Yeah, and we had the tents
all the way to the ground. Dug trenches.
I remember that
It's
comp.
like Gallipoli.
Yeah. It was hectic. We used to run some wild comps.
Frankie was just chain smoking. There's no ventilation. They're like, Frank, come on, man. We're trying to breathe in here.
But yeah, I do remember those. And I remember how hard it was because like you and I were judging most of those events back then. And I just remember just getting lost in the judging. Like you'd see like Thorpe and Cramsie in a heat or like, you know, they'd be in opposing heats or whatnot. And you'd go, oh yeah, Cramsie's just done a backflip, a roll, and then a reverse off the lip. And you're like, all right, 10. And then, and then like legit the next wave, it was like backflip, air reverse. And you're like, well, where do we go from here? Like it was legit. I don't know how many
Turn it up to 11
QABs we did where you had perfect 20s. Like, and I've not seen anything like that since.
No.
That's just going back to my point before, just the competitiveness and the productivity in such a short span. You can really determine comp surfers from free surfers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mate, so again, you obviously had some success at state level, and then, you know, kind of fast forwarding, you started competing. You obviously were doing nationals, and IBAA events, which then merged into the ABA.
Yep.
Mate, you obviously had a pretty incredible run, but in saying that, you did it hard for a few years. Because you come up against the best in the country. Some pretty incredible wave locations as well. What was your mindset? And again, obviously you probably still had dodgy eyes then.
Not as bad. But I still remember the first year that I won that. I didn't think I should have won because I wasn't as good as a fair few of those boys. But I just think, I love competing so much that I was so determined when I was out there. And I was so stressed out every comp and all that. But I think that kind of worked in a positive way. It made me more determined.
Is competing the thing you love most about bodyboarding?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can't really say that I would rather compete in 2-foot waves than surf 10-foot pumping waves. Like, obviously, I'd rather pump in waves, but the excitement and thrill after a comp, if you get a win or something, it's pretty awesome. So I do enjoy it. Yeah.
What mindset do you have to bring to that?
I don't know. I struggle with a positive attitude. I really did struggle with a positive attitude going there. So I used to have all these random things just going in the back of my head. Like I kind of want to feel like I didn't deserve it, or I'd want to feel like I wasn't going to win. So I wanted to prove myself wrong or something. I don't know. There was some weird stuff going on, but
so it's kind of like bringing an underdog mentality.
Yeah. I reckon an underdog mentality. Yeah, it was. I don't know. It seemed to work. So.
Talk us through, I guess, some of your preparation routines. And, I want to kind of hear about, from even just the start of an event, because sometimes the best surfers just have bad luck in their first heat. They might be pipped as going through all the way to the end and then, have a bad heat. Did you have like a routine that you followed leading up to an event in terms of, breathing exercises or a bit of M&M lose yourself in your AirPods?
So... like I said, I was always nervous. I was anxious. I was a bit stressed out. A lot of people would listen to music or do whatever. Especially at a young age, you want to get pumped up. Everyone just wants to get pumped up and be fired up.
You want the adrenaline running,
Yeah, but I was the opposite. I needed to calm myself down. So I'd usually go and disappear before my heat and just go chill out, watch the surf. And I'd usually try and make sure no one's around me, especially if I was getting pretty serious. So I just wanted to sit there, be quiet, and try and relax and watch the waves. That was pretty much it. A lot of people would listen to music, get pumped up, chat to their mates, and watch with everyone. I just wanted to settle down and chill out. So it was kind of a different sort of strategy that I had to a lot of people. I think a lot of people were wondering what I was doing before heats and that, because I'd disappear.
I don't think anyone noticed, mate.
Yeah, there you go. So
we just assumed you grab your ashy and off you went.
I disappeared, and even sitting on the beach, a lot of the time, everyone's sitting there together, like in rashies, chilling. I'd make sure I say good luck to everyone, but I like to sit down by myself and chill out.
Unless you're Marshall Watson would run 5Ks along the beach before any heat.
Just getting pumped up. See, I would try and do the opposite. Yep. I just want to try and relax. And for Marshall, it worked that way. He wanted to get pumped up, and if I got too pumped up, I'd make mistakes. I start making mistakes and get anxious, get nervous, all that stuff. And it actually brings me to sort of the world tour. I found a bit more stress and things on the world tour. And so I found myself even more stressed out and anxious on that world tour. So I sort of struggled a bit more with that. I found my heart rate was always up before I'd jump off the rocks or whatever on the world tour than the Aussie tour. And I found myself making a few more mistakes on the world tour for sure. And I think maybe that had a bit to do with it. Yeah.
What about, again, so you've put all this kind of internal energy into finding your zen preheat, who to goes, or you've given you 5 minutes. When you start paddling out, obviously you would have spent time analysing the conditions. What was your mindset once you got in the water in terms of finding your spot where you wanted to be, and how did you kind of work that around other competitors in the water? I guess one thing you see a lot of is that kind of sheep mentality in competition surfing, right? Everyone kind of like, oh, we're all going to go there because if whoever was paddling first, that must be the best, possible option for that heat.
Yeah.
Like how did you kind of navigate your way through those situations?
So this was a little quiet strategy I don't think I spoke to many people about, but say D-bar, for instance, everyone would go down the beach or stay close to get the rip out. I'd be chilling. I want to get the bank out. I want to, try and be real quiet on the beach. And then as soon as I hit that water, I wanted to get a bit fired up. I wanted to get wet. I wanted to get smashed by some waves on the way out to sort of
wake yourself up.
Yeah, wake myself up. And then once I'm out the back again, I don't know, it was a weird thing, but I want to chill back out. So I don't know, I was up and down. It was just my mind.
Is that a trust thing in your own body with the training you've been doing?
Yeah, maybe it was. Like being super fit doing that surf life-saving stuff. Like I wanted to get smashed. I wanted to get hit by waves before I was sitting out the back waiting for a wave myself. So yeah, instead of taking a rip out and chilling, sometimes I was trying to paddle out on the bank and duck diving a handful of waves.
On purpose.
Yeah.
In lifesaving, you always have to go out through the break.
Yeah, you're sprinting through the break as hard as you can. And it's I feel the same surfing big waves. A lot of people do. If you don't get pumped on the first couple of waves, you get more anxious that you're not going to make one wave and you're not prepared for it. So as scary as it is, like if you don't make your first wave when it's big and you come up okay, that's usually a good thing.
A good sign.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You're a little bit more
prepared. Sets the expectation early.
Yeah.
And what about, I guess, wave strategy? There's a lot of guys try to get that, the runs on the board, straight off the bat, kind of just build up that early average so they've got something to work on. Was that something that you always tried to work towards, or you had a different point of view?
I think so. Look, because I was such a, I wanted to be active out there. If I was in a competition that was slow and you only get a couple of waves of heat, I wasn't enjoying that. I want back-to-back waves. Like, I want to be active out there, or else, I definitely found myself wanting to get a wave within those first 5 minutes, then get a little backup score as well, and then from there I can slow it down a little bit and try and get high scores in the last, whatever it is, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever the heats were.
So I'm going to pull you into this one, Wellesley, for a little bit. You made mention of that kind of backup score, which is it's like pulling the safe card, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Where do you see competitive bodyboarding moving forward with that mentality? Like getting a safe score. Do you see that as being not progressive? Because you're like, and we've done a lot of judging together. Yeah. Everyone going for that, and God damn it, saw it a lot on the ABA tour. Like, I'm going to throw Joe Clark under the bus here. And I tried to give him constructive feedback after a lot of his heats that he didn't make in the ABA, where he played it safe and he just a guy that had so much talent and that could do anything on a wave, but would just choose to do a spin and a roll.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's textbook bodyboarding, but you know what? That they are realistically, they're almost entry level maneuvers,
For
right?
sure. Yep. And I guess that's the competitiveness that comes out in everybody, though. They want to make it through that heat.
Yep.
So if you're just going big and going hard all the time, you know, your percentage chances of potentially landing that particular trick is going to be a lot less.
But it's crazy because you put these guys in a free surfing
for sure.
situation, they're nailing that move 9 out of 10 times.
It's like anything, you put yourself in a high pressure situation, like any sport, you can practice things till the cows come home.
Yeah.
But then you put yourself in that 15-minute pressure cooker.
Like in sex. Like
Well,
you put yourself under all that pressure.
15 minutes?
15 minutes.
Wow.
Hello.
You have sex.
This is
It's easy when it's by yourself.
This isn't PG rated, this.
I really want this.
I tell you what, I think hashtag do better's been replaced.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, in order to perform, like, you can do anything as much as you want in practice, but then actually converting that when it actually counts is a different thing.
Of course.
You know, like,
It's fear. It's natural fear.
for bodyboarding to progress, I see it on the side of go big, let's go, let's get some things happening and make that the new norm. Like, you know, like, reward progressive bodyboarding, reward going for the bigger moves. Like, we've all seen a spin and a roll combo, like, numerous times. The one that really gets me is a spin in the whitewash after they've finished I think you should lose points for that.
You mean GST? The GST?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
The tax man.
Give it to John Howard and be done with it.
So anything under a 5 could be a 0.
Yeah.
No, well, that's
Yeah.
Well,
No, I know
it
what you
should-
mean.
you could look at it that way.
Yeah, well, it should be.
You go if you only score a 5, it actually is a 0. Anything over a 5 actually gets scored and goes towards you.
Yeah.
But like that sounds like a crazy harebrained scheme. But in saying that, it's not something that should be discounted in looking at future progression plans for judging and for winning, right?
If that's what we want to see.
Yeah, and
sure.
I mean, there was a period, and again, this is almost 10 years ago, and it's disappointing that it stopped. There were guys that were really putting energy and effort into introducing new maneuvers to bodyboarding, like invert to air reverse.
Yep.
That, you know,
Stone flip.
Jake was doing all kinds of crazy shit.
That nugget comp.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then it just stopped.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like the repertoire of, in particular, aerial maneuvers that bodyboarders can do, like inverts, air revs, air forwards, backflips, like they're great. But they've also been moves that have now been in our sport for
Long time.
10 to 15 years.
Well, it's also something we're looking at with the World Tour right now that we're all sick of seeing backflips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, backflips are the new norm, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
it's the
backflip's
new
the new role. Yeah.
It's the new role. So I guess, where do you go, though? Like, there's lots of moves out there, but...
Well, I still think there's some examples from skateboarding that you could bring into it. Like
Yep.
I feel like I've joked about this with you before, Cramsie, about, you know, like doing Supermans and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
just
right?
random stuff.
Yeah, but going above the lip, like, might look terrible. You know what I mean?
But, functional.
But you know what I
He
mean?
wants to bring back the
look
Christ
nice?
there.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Christ.
The Christian Husoi Christ there. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm not...
There's got to be more moves to be done, for sure. There definitely
you
is.
could do a varial board flip.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
There's
look,
other stuff that can be done.
Stuff's endless, but I guess you have to draw the line somewhere. And at the end of the day, everyone wants to make it through a competition as far as they possibly can go. So I see merit in the 2 waves under your belt and then go hell for leather, personally. That's what I would recommend as a judge sitting on the thing and as a spectator is you get 2 good scores. And if you get great waves, you can push that a little bit more, Instead of doing a spin roll, you do a spin flip or something like that. So
Yeah, sure.
and then you go ham after that because you at the end of the day, you're there to win. Everyone wants to win.
Oh, no, I'm just there for the friendship.
Is that how you play your heats?
Yep. That's why I never win.
Can't we just be friends?
Oh, that set wave. That set wave. No, you get that
Yeah,
one.
you
That's
go.
yours.
It's a big for
Fine.
me anyway.
I'll get one tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll get one after the heat.
And okay, well, one more question about your kind of your strategic mind. How did you put a lot of energy into that preheat focus and then obviously in heat focus. You didn't make every heat, and obviously you're very acclaimed and successful professional bodyboarder. But how do you handle the losses?
Yeah,
Because losses
pretty bad.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. I was
you can say shit. We can swear on this
podcast.
podcast.
Oh, shit house, yeah. No, I was never a bad sport. I don't think I was ever a bad sport, but in myself, I was pissed off at myself. Oh, pissed off. There we go. I'm back.
Yay. Ding.
Yeah, I wasn't happy with myself if I didn't make a heat, if I didn't make a semi, whatever it was. I'd
shoot, dang name.
Yeah, I'd be like, why am I here, sort of thing. I don't even deserve to have made it to this heat kind of mentality, and maybe that's that underdog sort of feeling that I wanted to feel. I don't know, but yeah, it was lots of ups and lots of downs in my competing. I think that's why I strive so hard to be the best, because if I wasn't the best, I'd hate it, and it stressed me out a lot. But that's maybe why I found myself succeeding a fair bit, because I'd put so much pressure on myself.
Great success.
If I didn't do well.
I always remember that from you. Every time you'd come in from a heat, I'd be like, oh, Lucky, like, how do you think you went? Like, I knew how you went. Yeah. And you'd be like, oh, that was like the worst heat I've ever done. Like, all the time. Like, you're like, nah, rubbish, horrible. Yeah. But you literally get like 2 10s. Like, you were just always... You
just got a pair of 10s.
Yeah, like you were your own worst critic. It was hard to actually watch from a spectator point of view as well, because you were always so hard on yourself, which might lead to your success as well, I guess.
So if you are hard on yourself, though, can you enjoy your successes? Like, you've won 4 Australian titles.
After they're done, I can. But while it's happening in a final, if I'm in the lead or, whatever, if I'm in the lead, I'm not as bad as it sounds, I'm not really enjoying it until that buzzer's gone. I'm still stressed out. Before these little smartwatches and that were out, I was doing this, but my heart rate...
What do you have back then, the little Casio or Mickey Mouse watch?
Here's another weird thing. I didn't like to... Well, I couldn't really read the scoreboard or whatever was on the beach, but I didn't really like to hear how long was exactly left. I'd try and have it pretty much in my mind if there was about 10 minutes to go, about 5 minutes to go, but I'd try and just do what I could do. The pressure was on me. I was going to try and do whatever I could to win, and I don't think there was much else I could have done, really, in those situations, even if I knew what time was left.
Did you feel like more of a chance when you were in the lead or you were chasing? So, again, let's just, place the scenario.
Strategise.
Yeah, you've got 5 minutes left.
Underdog mentality.
Yeah, underdog mentality. 5 minutes left. Would you feel more comfortable knowing that you need a score or that you're protecting a score?
I'd be excited. Look, like, I'd be shaking out there if I'm coming second. I'd be literally so scared. But excited, especially if I'm seeing some waves come in. But obviously, I want to be winning. I want to be winning all the time, or I wanted to be winning all the time. I'm sure everyone would want that, but everyone wants to be winning. But yeah,
not me.
Yeah, you're there for,
wave, mate.
There for friends. But
that's why I won so many titles. I don't want this one. I'll sit it out.
Right, yeah, like I don't know if I was sitting second and came from second to first, that was pretty epic. Like I'd enjoy that. But then once again, that being my own critic would come in and be like, well, that was just pure luck or something like that. Yeah.
Did you have someone, that you felt confident in talking to after an event, whether it was after a win or after a loss, that you felt like you could kind of divulge how you felt about it too?
Probably not really. Hey, I'd keep it pretty quiet to myself, I reckon.
Even pick up the phone and call Coach Wellesley?
Well, I'd tell Ben how I went or what I did or how I went.
Hey, Ben, Lucky here.
Hey. Is that how I sound?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. My sticker came off.
That's it.
Do you know how much they are?
Go and get yourself a Sharpie.
Draw him on. That's it. No, I'd speak about it, but no, I wasn't there for the whole debrief for other people. Especially I found like some people don't really. I'd hate to be talking to someone and they don't care about it. So I'd rather just do a debrief in my head sort of thing about it, I reckon. Yeah, I'm a pretty quiet person, so this podcast could be a bit short. Sometimes I don't speak all that much.
Unless you're pissed off.
Yeah, unless I'm
then
pissed
you'll
off,
really
I can keep
open
that
up.
going.
Mate, so again, four ABA Tour Championships. I assume the first was probably the most memorable, but, mate, to go on and win another 3 is pretty spectacular. Can you talk us through what were the key moments for you through that period? Like, obviously, there were certain events that you won that would probably almost sit up there as, instrumental as winning the overall tour.
Yeah, there was definitely a handful. Look, those D-bar ones and the surface pumping, you can't really, they're the best ones that you had, really. To win, obviously, in big and good surf is way more rewarding than to win in small surf. But the ones that probably have the most people in it, the most people wanting to compete, and I think the earliest ones too, so my first year especially, when those older blokes are still at their prime.
Winnie, Rollins.
Yeah, and I was
Lester and Rollins.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was versing them. Like, if I could come out on top, like, even though sometimes I felt I didn't deserve it, I was frothing. Like, yeah.
What about your arch nemesis at D-Bar, Hayato?
Hayato, yeah. Yeah, he, it was always close with us, hey? Always. If I didn't get, like, the biggest wave of the comp, then he would probably have me with those ARSs.
He is a small wave extraordinaire.
Yeah.
And what's he throw? Like 3 ARSs on a wave? And for a guy, like he got so much projection.
Yeah. He'd somehow just hover. Like,
It's crazy. We've talked about this already, but the Pipe Comp has just kind of released their draft run sheet and Hayato's in the mix.
Cool.
Yeah.
wow.
Small wave extraordinaire.
In a big wave of consequence.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised. Like when I did the pipe season, I was surprised to see some of the Japanese bodyboarders over there. They can hold their own in some decent sized surf. Yeah, I was surprised. So it'd be, hopefully he does well.
Look, I just hope they get waves for the event. That's all you want, right?
Imagine him on some of those backdoor ramps. Like, he's not going to come back down.
No, he's too light.
He's too light.
He's taken off.
He'll end up at bloody off the wall or something. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, that'd be sick. That'd be interesting to watch, eh?
Was there a highlight event that you sort of competed in that sort of stands
I
out?
was just trying to think. I'd
You
say
won a couple of events at nights?
at nights. Yeah, nights was sick. So I can't remember who I was versing. But there was one, nights was pumping, and it actually wasn't even a final. It was a semi or a quarter, and it was man on man, and we just got bulks, heaps of sets, and we were both like sitting on 9s, like 2 9s each, and I ended up getting a double roll off one section, and I got a 10, and maybe 2 10s, I don't know, or maybe like a high 9 and a 10, but like, I can't think who it was. The name. Jasper.
Was it Jasper?
It might have been Jasper. I'm thinking.
Japo.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was. But like we both
specialist.
just had a sick heat, and I just won with that double roll. But we both, like, his heat combination would have been a 19, and mine was like 19.5. Like, it was crazy. So
marginal, but on a large scale.
it was like we both came in, and I was like. That was one of those heats where I was like, man, if I lost, I would have been pissed off. But, like, that was sick.
It was a good heat.
I really enjoyed that. That was cool. So, there was that. That one's always memorable. But, also just the D-bar ones. Whenever the surf is the best, and if I could take a win in that usually means the most. But I do remember that heat pretty well in South Oz.
Yeah, epic.
Benny, I want to ask you, like, what did it mean at the time having someone like Cramsie on the tour when you were running it?
For me, pretty emotional because I'd known Lockie from such a young age. There we go. But again, I had a really good relationship with his whole family, so with his parents as well. And to see him just constantly progress, but just keep practicing his craft. And like I said before, like it was a pretty heavy field. For him to just keep pushing and pushing, like a lot of other guys, and you saw this a lot, Wellesley, as well, like a lot of guys that started off on the ABA tour, if they didn't have early success, they rather than committing to the whole tour, they'd be like, oh, fuck this. I had a shocking first two events. So I'm not going to
drop out. I won't bother for the rest of the year.
Like, Cram just kept at it and at it and at it.
Definitely, if I didn't have a good, first two comps, I guess I did debrief going back to that to my parents. But there was so many times if I didn't have a good first two comps, I'm like, I'm not freaking going. And they're the ones that sort of got me through and just told me, just go, just have fun. Like they're always telling me that, and I'm like, I'm going to I want to win or I don't want to go, sort of thing. But yeah, they're the ones that kept me going. So their support, I got to thank them in this podcast. Yeah.
Shout out to Paul and Judy.
Yeah, thanks Paul and Jude. Thanks Mum and Dad. They really helped me. I wouldn't have competed for as long. I wouldn't have succeeded probably at all if they weren't there.
Yeah. So, and they did turn up.
Oh, they were
every time.
Parents don't turn up a lot of the time, but your parents turn up.
The D-Bar comps Judes would just go sit on her
little chair.
She would not talk to anybody the whole head.
With the dog, remember?
She had that ugly little poodle.
And she had the poodle brooches and that as well.
Oh, she had some weird stuff, but she had an ugly little, rest in peace to that little doggy. But Mum did her own weird little thing when I was out there, and I did my own weird little thing as well. But no, like from the first, those SCBCs, like Mum was, Mum and Dad were behind the barbecue or they were on the beach or whatever. So, that I wouldn't have got anywhere without them, really.
Obviously, you had great success on the ABA tour. And
great success.
Then that gave you the opportunity to go onto the world tour.
Yep.
How did that sort of, all the training and everything you did sort of translate to going on the world tour? What were you doing in regards to training?
Training-wise, well, at the younger age when I first started on that world tour and the Aussie tour and that, I was just the hours in the ocean, hey, like doing the surf life-saving stuff, swimming, running, like mainly just shit in the ocean, but
mainly just shitting in the water.
Yeah. That was my training.
That's great.
Mainly just stuff in the ocean, but like I'd find myself on the footy field holding my breath like while I'm doing the lap or whatever.
So running a lap, holding your breath.
Yeah, just doing the 100 meters.
Oh, yeah. Jesus, 400 meters. I was like, you're doing a whole lap.
Yeah, not sprinting, holding my breath, but yeah, just doing stuff like that, and then that would try kind of help me. I think that might have helped me, just so much time in the water. It was great. I think that's where everything helped.
Were you doing Ironman training still at that time?
Yeah, I was still doing heaps of iron stuff until I was 18. I think 18-ish, I sort of started.
Were you eating Nutrigrain like all Ironmen
fading away?
should?
I definitely wasn't eating Nutrigrain. I don't think, hey.
I don't think any of them do.
No, I really don't know.
Trevor Hendy did, I'm sure of it.
Oh, yeah, before his races and that, I'm sure.
But yeah, definitely. Like Big Bowl.
No, he was Uncle Toby's, mate.
Ah, yeah.
He wasn't on the Nutrigrain.
Ah, right.
Oh, well, he wasn't having Nutrigrain, was he?
No, touche.
Yeah,
porridge.
So I find myself just about more comfortable in the water than I do outside the water at a lot of the time. I get so friggin' anxious. Like, when you were saying travelling and things like that, like, I'm so anxious at airport, especially travelling by myself. I'm so anxious doing shit, and then I'll find myself making little mistakes. I don't know, let's say I won't find the gate to where the plane's taking off. Like, just dumb shit that anyone should be able to do, but because I'm anxious, nervous, I'm making dumb mistakes. So, like
using the ladies' restrooms instead of the men.
That was you just before. Oh, jeez. But yeah. So the world tour, in that sense, was pretty hard because I had my parents supporting me for the Aussie tour, so I could say, I'm stuffing this up, like I'm doing shit, and they're like, just calm down. Whereas I have no one there, so I'll start freaking out.
Yeah, so having a support network.
Yeah, having a support network, I needed that, or else I wasn't gonna do well.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I guess on the world tour, at that stage, there wasn't really many other Australians there either.
Well, yeah, that too. And then if I'm freaking out, what am I going to do? I'm not really going to run around over in Chile or Brazil by myself at a young age, or like when I'm overthinking. So, yeah.
So who are you staying with when you went abroad?
I'd stay with boogers and stuff.
Did you have mates you travelled with though, like that were doing the world tour at the same time?
I'd meet them over there usually. Say the boys from WA, the three amigos.
They'd be getting a different flight to you anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it'll be stuff like that. I'll meet them there when I get there, or they'll come there a couple of days later or something. But there was sick support from them. But like, especially back then, I'm not opening up to people like that. So yeah.
I got a bit of a controversial question though, and not something we've actually listed to have a chat about. But when I think the last time you won the ABA tour, the prize was a position on the world tour for the following year.
Yeah.
But when it came to the following year, it was on the IBA tour at the time. That got revoked.
Yeah.
What happened there, and how did that sort of affect your thinking for the year?
Well, that was when things were fizzling, wasn't it, for the bodyboarding competitive scene, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think it was the final year of the ABA. I think it was the year before.
It might have been the year before, yeah. Okay. But yeah, it just kind of like, it was like, what's the point? Trying so hard. And then as I was finishing that year off, I was like, I want this seat on the world tour. I want to be, chase this world. I want to do every comp. Still to this day, I've never done every comp on the world tour.
It's so fucking expensive.
Yeah, exactly. And so if I'm flying around the world and things aren't even happening that's promised, I was like, well, fuck.
Well, on top of that, we've been heavily talking about in the podcast over the couple of years we've been going about progression, for competitive bodyboarding. What's your thoughts on that, Ben? Like,
it stinks.
Yeah,
it absolutely stinks. And look, I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus for this particular incident, but there was an agreement in place between the ABA and
the IBA.
Yeah, and the IBA, the World Tour. But for whatever reason, when push came to shove, it was kind of,
it wasn't honoured.
It wasn't honoured, and it was not just that. It was kind of greeted with the sound of crickets.
Yeah.
No one really wanted to talk to us to kind of try and find a resolution, and there was no reasoning why it couldn't happen. Like we'd done everything that we were instructed to do by that body in order to create this opportunity, and it just wasn't.
That's just bodyboarding, isn't it?
It's just business, right, Wellesley?
Yeah,
just business.
Just business.
I'm with three business blokes here, so I probably shouldn't talk too much. Hey,
I do remember back. Going back even further, like the Australian Tour, if you finished in the top 8 of the Australian Tour, you automatically got seeded into pipeline the next year. Like that was a huge carrot for people to do the Australian Tour, which is no longer there. Like people didn't care whether you were an Aussie champion or like you obviously did, but like it wasn't the main goal. You just wanted to surf pipeline with 3 other people out there, and get seeded through to the main rounds of pipe. But obviously we don't have that there anymore.
No, you find yourself back on the trials.
Yeah.
Probably in shit waves. So that's
dear, oh dear.
Well, it's probably best we move into a bit more fun stuff and go from competition into free surfing.
Whee!
Where's those sound effects when you need them? Yeah.
He's trying to find one. Look at him.
Look at you on the DJ decks there, eh? DJ Benio.
Been hanging out with Josh Keenan, mate.
Yeah.
Been teaching me a thing or two.
Oh, jeez.
Tell us about the trip with Lachie.
Lachie, yeah.
Philippines.
To the Philippines. That was like, man, how long were we there? 10 days or something, was it? Something like that. We got pumping waves every friggin' day. Like,
there was others on this trip though, right?
No, just two.
It was just two of you.
Two and Jennings filming. Yeah.
Jennings, the third wheel.
We just looked it up. 282,000 views it's had.
That's a little bit better than our podcast.
It's close. We've only got 200 81,994 to
Just
go.
need to move the decimal point a few spaces.
Yeah, it was sick. Like, I've heard, obviously, in the movies that Lackey's in, like, it's such a fickle place. You can get there and it can be flat. You can go there on the right swell, it'll be shit. So I was skeptical. Like, the wave's freaking awesome, but I was skeptical. I was like, no, on my luck, we'll get there. It'll be shit in 2 foot. And we got there and it was
Pretty grumpy, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Never happy.
And no, hold up. We got there and it was pumping non-stop. Look at that positivity, mate. And it was sick.
Rainbows.
Far out. We surfed pretty much all day, every day, and like.
But you got other waves as well, right?
We got other waves. We got like this slabby
Got that left, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't say where it is. Or...
Yeah, I think if we recall,
there's a laser. There's a laser.
It was on a different island. So I think Lackey recalls it being on a different island. That's right.
In a different country.
Different country.
Pretty.
It was actually
3 flights to get there.
It was winter. It was cold.
Good shark infested water.
There were snipers on us the whole time. No, but yeah, secret little wave around there, and we got that wave. Like, it was cooking. It wasn't under 3 foot for 10 days, and you don't want it. Let's say you don't want it over 8 foot. It didn't get over 8 foot. You don't want it under 3 to 3 foot, maybe 4 foot. It didn't get under that. Like, it was so sick. We were bloody burnt out. There were days where it was like we go out on mid, low, and coming up to high tide, and then high tide's pumping, but there's actually people out then because it wasn't as hectic. So the locals would go out and we're like, stuff it. We'll have a couple of hours break and we'll go back out when there's 4 people out. And
the local surfing community over there, like, they're good.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
15 years ago, there wasn't much of a movement in terms of a
swim.
Yeah.
I was actually just watching a few younger surfers. They just had a tour. Do you know anything about the surfing tour? That was
the QS.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So, that's it.
Better than most of the World Tour events last year.
That was sick. Hey, I had a few of the boys that were over there for that, a few mates, and I was like, wow, you guys got to have a comp. Remember that bodyboard comp? Virtue. He lost his pants.
Naked invert.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like, he ended up friggin' ripping. He borderline would have got 210s or some shit in that heat. But yeah, he lost his pants out there. But the surf was friggin' pumping out there then for that comp. Like,
how did you find again, Cloud 9 is one of those, we talked about D-Bar being like a skate park, right? Yeah. It's got the barrel to bowl. Like, Cloud 9
That's exactly it. What else can you say? It's like a barrel to bowl. It's a ramp. The surfers can get hell barrels out there and maybe get a ramp, but when it's a bit bigger, you got those 4 foot ramps, maybe a bit bigger, where it's just like, man, bodyboarding is skits over there. Like,
yeah,
holy shit, it was sick. My body was so sore after those couple of days doing airs, and like, it was so good. But like, yeah, to get waves like that for 10 days straight or whatever it was just like, what else can we do out here? Like, far out, it was fun.
And how was traveling with Lackey? Obviously, he's a humorous man.
It was shit. No, he's so good. He's so funny, man. He's pretty positive, which is great. But he's a character. Like, I haven't had heaps to do with Lackey because he's a drop now, so he doesn't really count. But but man. He's a freaking legend. It was so fun traveling with him. So, but yeah, on that left-hander, I got up on the knee and probably got more barrel than he did too, I reckon. Just dominating that peak, that secret peak.
On the other island.
Yeah. So
3 flights.
I don't know if he'll be invited back, but I will with the way I was dropping out there.
So obviously, again, that's just one trip you've done abroad, mate. Run us through the rest of your travel schedule over the years.
You did Samoa with fellow Sunny Coaster Michael Navy.
Yeah, we were just chatting about this. So off podcast, like, that was the other trip I've done in the last handful of years where it was sick. Like, man, between Cloud 9 and that, what is it, Anganoa or whatever? Yeah, that wave that Ben was chatting in his podcast.
So you've been to Philippines as well?
Samoa. Like, those waves are very, very much the same We might have got a touch bigger in Samoa for a couple of days. But it's so hard to even say. Maybe Philippines is a little bit better, but that Aganoa or whatever wave is a bit longer. Oh, man. We got that with no one out too because it was pretty big. Like, that was sick. And me and Novi got that for a handful of days with no one out actually because it was big. Yeah. So that was another trip that was just like, I'll never ever forget that. And surfing with Novi, like coming from the sunny coast, obviously as well. He's a couple of years older. Like I looked up to him for forever.
Fuck, now he's got a grey beard. He looks about 30 years older.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I know.
He's really adapted to that
caravan lifestyle, mate.
Grey nomad. Grey nomad.
How it's paying all these boys out in the podcast.
And they can't, there's no response. They can't do
no
anything.
response. Where are you, boys?
Yeah. Safe.
I can't wait for those guys to have a chat about me and just write me off nonstop.
Speaking of which, there was a bit of a story on that trip where professional lifeguard Lachlan Cramsie and at the time professional lifeguard Michael Novi, because he was doing Evoca at the time, watched MJ struggle in the rip for
that was
about an hour and a half trying to paddle in.
Yeah, I won't put him too. No, I'll put him.
Just we speak the truth on this podcast.
Yeah,
mate.
Enjoy editing this, Jennings. But we were just out for like 6 hours surfing, and he was filming water, so he was pretty cooked. And we just caught a few waves in on the bodyboard. We were done, and Jennings had to swim in. It wasn't that far, but there was a fair bit of water moving. And by the time we were in, me and Novi and I just cracked a beer, and we looked back out, and he's still kicking in, trying to get in.
Hasn't moved.
Yeah, hasn't moved. He was just trying to swim in a rip, might I add. Like, instead of going over the reef where it was shallower and a couple of waves.
Are you saying that maybe Jennings was lacking some common ocean safety sense in that moment?
I guess so. I guess I am saying that, aren't I?
Raw kicking power.
This is all going to be cut out, isn't it? No. Well, we cut short here. But, yeah, so
This whole episode might not make it to air.
We finished a beer, I think, and then we were both laughing, watching him. And
wow.
Yeah.
After he's been so nice filming it for 6 hours.
Water, he's cooked. Wow. And we're sitting there pretty much cheersing him from 50, 100 metres away. And I think I ended up paddling out on a mal because they don't really have guards or anything there. I think I ended up, after I finished my beer, and I was like, mate.
Took him out a bottle of water.
Yeah.
Here you go, mate.
And then paddle back in.
On your bike.
Yeah. Don't drown.
And I was like,
here's a bottle of water.
Yeah. Hydrate yourself. Keep going. It was getting friggin' dark then, I think. And I was like, dude, come this way a little bit and you'll come straight in. And then he made his way in, but I'd already caught a handful of waves on the mal by then. Like, Jesus Christ, Jennings.
Was he a bit on edge after that?
I think so. I think we probably had to buy him a couple of beers after, I'd say, for not helping out.
At $1 a piece.
Yeah,
Probably $1 a piece.
Yeah.
But mate, I mean, again, from being a competitive bodyboarder where, the repertoire generally focuses on mid-range size waves, to doing some great free surf trips. But mate, you're no stranger to just big stuff as well.
Yeah.
And, we spoke about this earlier. You got your kind of entry to that, down in Kiama at the Bommy with Mr. Ackerman. Crackerman. But I mean, yeah, you've surfed other big waves of consequence.
Yeah.
Luna's comes to mind with me because I got to see that firsthand.
I think you paddled out and I got pumped first wave.
Yep, lost your fin.
Lost my fin, paddled back in. Yeah.
I also had a very similar situation that day where it took me about an hour to swim back in against the rip.
Yeah, because you found his fin.
Yeah.
And you had to carry it.
Yeah. But what's fucked up about this? He was wearing a black fin, right?
Yeah.
And,
oh my God.
Luna's is just, it's a spooky place, right? So there's me, Jennings, and Luke Barker. We're all kind of shooting, kind of floating around in a little triangle on the shoulder. Barker's just throwing himself on the inside because he's mental. Lockie loses a fin, and, we're kind of just joking about that eeriness. And I kid you not, all that pops up between us is just Lockie's black fin. Yeah.
How's you threw it away? Because I'd already swum in, got another fin, come back out. You throw it away, and it comes back to you. It was
just kept coming back. It was a boomerang.
I'd catch a wave, go back, have a quick couple of words to Ben, and there it is, sitting next to him. He's like, I can't fucking get rid of it.
But that's it. I then obviously tried, because when I started swimming in, I still had the fin. So, you got a housing. You generally use one arm to paddle and kick, but then I've got this fucking fin on my arm that's just pulling me down.
Literally, it's
I was gassed.
On top of that, a bloke that owns a fin company.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, fuck it, I'll get another one.
doing my bit for the environment, Shane,
Good to hear, mate.
Ben's trying to throw it away, but
it's how much I care about your products.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Greta, yeah, see? She likes me. Mate, how do you feel in the big stuff?
I love it. So the worst thing about big waves or anything, I hate crowds, man. I'd love to surf those waves without crowds. I think that's the scariest thing about pipe. Everyone talks about Hawaii being like the most dangerous wave in the world or whatever, but it's definitely, look, let's be honest, it's definitely not. There's way gnarlier waves. What makes it gnarly is the crowd. Like,
other people.
You're not thinking about the waves got heaps of consequence. Like, people die there and stuff, but you're focused on the 10 locals, the 100 locals out there that are wolf whistling, and they've just paddled out and caught a wave, and then you're up, but you're not getting that wave if they want it. Yeah. You can do whatever you want. If they want that wave, they're getting it. Like,
on top of that, you feel pressure to take off even on the wrong ones?
Well, even on the wrong ones. Like, there was one day, it was a perfect swell for surfing out there. Like, it was 10 foot, but I spent like 4 hours out there. I don't think I got a wave. I cracked the shits and caught a 10-footer and went straight because I couldn't get a wave.
Yeah.
So I just sat out there, caught a wave, went straight, ate shit at pipe, and then went in. And that was 4 hours in the water trying to get a wave. Like, yeah, that's what makes it dangerous. Like,
you don't get to pick the waves you want to go.
Yeah, and you're looking at the shoulder trying to figure out what the wave's doing, but you're looking behind you more than any other wave in the world because you're looking at, is there 20 surfers and boogers are behind you? There's 50 people that paddle for a wave at a time if you're not a local. So, like, who's going to get it? How close are they going to get? Are they going to commit to this wave, or are they just having a couple of paddles? Like, that's what makes it gnarly, I reckon. So
it makes me feel anxious.
Yeah, I'd way rather be in those big waves without a crowd.
Sounds like any time we surf with Mark, Shane, you're just always looking over your back to see where he is.
Mark's an instant crowd,
as he do some laps around you boys, eh?
We call him the magnet.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah. He wears blinkers when he's like the horses.
Yeah.
Can never see anyone.
But yeah, like, obviously anyone that surfs big waves, it's so rewarding getting kitted or doing whatever on big waves. Like, the adrenaline rush, the everything, it's 100 times more than small waves. So yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it.
So where's on the bucket list?
Yeah,
you've surfed some pretty.
Yeah,
have you done Tahiti yet?
Yeah, I have, but I didn't really get it. Like, we were over there and it just rained for a month straight. I did that comp,
I thought so.
Tropes comp over there, and it was pretty shit. Like, there was a couple of fun ones, but I'm talking fun.
But it wasn't
4 to 6 foot. It wasn't trope. It wasn't proper tropes.
Is that something you'd like to try and conquer?
So there's a few waves that I haven't done that I want to. So tropes, obviously, I haven't done that. I'm scared for that, more for the bottom. Like, shit, that's hectic. But that one and the right. I want to do the right.
Ewan. He knows the bottom well.
Yeah, he knows the bottom well.
And
it's
Shane,
like
you've got
the bottom of Old Woman Island. Yeah.
Still hurts, doesn't it?
Still hurts.
Yeah, so there, I want to do the right, but obviously there's been a handful of blokes try and paddle it lately. My fitness level, since I haven't been bodyboarding, has gone downhill, so there's a shitload of training I got to do before I get back into this and after the eye surgery. But yeah, I'm looking forward to chasing waves next winter sort of thing. I'm super keen, man. Yeah.
Well, at Shark Island too, didn't you?
Yeah,
sure did.
That's another sick wave. What year was that one?
Must have been.
I think
16 rings a bell. That was another one where I didn't think I was going to make it to the final, the 5-man final, I took my weddy off. And we were about to go straight out because that tide was dropping super quick. I remember taking my weddy off because I was like, I think Novi's got it. And me and Novi were like so close score-wise, but I just got it. But I was like, I admitted defeat. I was like, man, weddy's off. Middle of winter, it was cold. I was like, weddy off, pants on, jumper on. Like. And then I made the final. I didn't do that great in the final. The tide was pretty low then, and I'd only surfed it a handful of times, so I wasn't really picking the right waves. But that is, that's another place where it's peak of bodyboarding. Like, you look at that Shark Island Challenge in particular, like, there was boats everywhere, jet skis everywhere, drones everywhere. There's 50 people sitting in the channel screaming at you as you're in a barrel with, like shallow, borderline dry rocks as you're about to come out of a barrel. That's bodyboarding. That's sick. And I think I found myself thriving. I probably made a few mistakes in that comp. Like, I found myself just wanting to go hard. So I just wanted to do airs. Like, I wanted to go big and get airs. Like, getting barrels out there is sick, but I wanted to do something crazy.
Something unique.
Yeah, something
Next
unique.
level.
Hey, but that was a comp I'll remember for the rest of my life as well. That one. That was so cool.
Getting back on tour.
It's an invite. It's an invite.
You want me to get him back?
It's an invite comp, is it?
I don't have those contacts.
Can you have it happen by 3 o'clock?
Are you the big dog
I
here?
don't have those contacts.
Shark Island local.
Who are you
Benny
getting me
Iver.
mixed up with, mate? I'm not Brendan Newton.
Nah, I haven't been surfing as much as I would want to be at the moment. So after this eye surgery and I start chasing it, let's hope I can get an invite back. We'll see.
Given your competitive history with the sport, like where do you? And again, it's just one of these common questions we ask everyone that we sit down and chat with. Like, where do you see the sport now, and where would you like to see it? I mean, you're in a different perspective to what Wellesley is. You know, he's looking at it from a business perspective. You're looking at it from an athlete's perspective.
Yeah. I
think that, the common denominators there, like, I think everyone wants to see a stable world tour. I think what you've said before about this, Shane, is to, simplify it.
Yep.
Keep it to 3 events.
Yeah.
Yep. A Triple Crown format just works. But leading up to that Triple Crown, have other events that lead up to that. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Well, it has to be that way. Not many people can afford to do that world tour and do every comp in bodyboarding and have a lifestyle. Like, man, that's so hard to be throwing all that money at comps. And then let's say was that last year, that prize money that didn't actually get handed out?
That was last year. ... Yeah. I mean, it got paid in the end.
It did, yeah. See, I'm so far behind on all this stuff, I don't really know. But, like, man, that's when like, how are you going to chase something that you're not
There's no
even
guarantee that
potentially getting prize money?
Are you following the tour at all? Like, is it?
I've had a pretty big break, so I'm not really following it. But video-wise and all that kind of stuff, I'm watching stuff online. I didn't get to watch that front on mine. I watched highlights and that, but I was at work, so yeah.
There are a couple of good there are a couple of good days in that event, and it was kind of good to. I mean, it was the last event for their calendar for the year, and obviously it came down to one of those things where it was crowning a champ again. So that's cool. That's what everyone wants to see. And the waves were good. I mean, they weren't.
Oh, that wave's mental too.
It's kind of, it's like, you look at Shark Island. When Shark Island's amazing, it's amazing, but then everything else gets compared to that, right? Fronton's the same. There was a World Tour comp there a few years back. I think Jace Finlay went
when
big.
It was really big.
Yeah.
Rollins, Finlay. Yeah.
Amori was going ham. So that's kind of like the measure. So,
well, it's what everyone's always going to compare it to.
Of course.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless we're just running events in wave pools and the waves are the same all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You know something?
Well, do wave pools get that big? I don't think so.
Yeah, mate. You just got to find the key to the engineering shed and punch it up.
Yeah, okay.
I reckon we can almost wrap this one up, Shana. What do you reckon?
Yeah, we'll go into the quick fire questions, eh?
Pew pew. Get started.
Favourite band?
The Amity Affliction. Love them.
Second, Swift. Taylor Swift.
Yeah, T-Swizzle. Yeah. what do you call those? The fans of Taylor Swift?
Swifties.
Yeah.
Swifties.
That's me.
Yeah.
Nah, probably Amity Affliction.
Yeah.
Closely followed by T. Slizzle.
Yeah. Favorite Amity Affliction song, just to go on.
Is he a true fan? He just buys the t-shirts.
Yeah, I just buy the shirts. Hey, that's me.
Yeah.
Anchors, I reckon. Old school.
Nice. Favorite film? Something by Alfred Hitchcock, perhaps?
The bench warmers.
Bench
The
warmers.
bench warmers, yeah.
Deep.
I know. It's weird. I watched it, let's say, a month ago, and then I've watched it like another 1 or 2 times since then. So
Major giggle.
I'm going through a little stage at the moment. I love it. It's
is
so
that
fun.
Juice Bigelow? Is that the guy from Juice Bigelow?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Is it Rob
There's
Schneider?
some-
Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
And
There's
The
some
guy
funny
that's always
stuff.
and
inside the
Hayden.
cupboards.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one
Has
that
it got
eats-
and
eats,
Johnny Knoxville? Is he in it too? Or is that another one? Nah.
The one that
I don't even know if I've watched that.
That's so bad.
drinks sunscreen.
Drink sunscreen. Wow.
How's the moon treating you? Not a fan.
Yeah, you got David Spade, Rob Schneider, and John Heder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's a good one.
Favorite car?
The old Toyota Corolla, Rolls Royce.
Felt like you're going to say anything that's got fuel in it.
That was
Yeah.
my first car, a Corolla.
Yeah, I had mine like when I first got my P's, and it was so good. It lasted forever till I hit a kangaroo,
Oh.
and then it was gone.
Rest in
Mate,
peace.
that's where I've still seen it on the road.
Yeah, who
It's had
knows?
a
Man?
revival, I
They
swear,
do. They
that
just about
beast.
don't die, so maybe it's back.
Toyota
Maybe.
Corolla is the world's most ever sold car.
There you go. Boom.
I'm here for the facts. I do my
Thanks,
research.
mate. That's good.
Favorite TV show?
Friends, I reckon. We'll just have to go with Friends.
Favorite Friends character?
Oh, I don't know.
You'd be
You
a,
go
jo-
through
you'd be a
that-
Joey guy,
Ross.
wouldn't you?
No one likes Ross.
Yeah, I don't.
Poor Ross.
I don't know. I reckon you go through stages of liking and not liking people as much because there's so many episodes and seasons.
But no one likes Ross.
No one likes Ross.
Right, Ross?
Poor Ross.
Yeah, poor Ross.
Favorite bodyboard film?
I was thinking about this on the car trip down here. I think Rome 2 is still going to be my favourite. Hey, it was skits.
Why Rome 2 over, say, Rome 1 or Rome 3?
Yeah.
Rome Diaries.
Rome Diaries?
Rome Diaries. I don't know. They're all sick. I don't know.
Like the next one, Rome, The Return of Cram.
Roaming around.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. If not,
Was it the intro to Pensy with the I think like 50 Cent playing, driving around in his little
Right, the gangster car.
yeah, I get money, I get money. Cringe.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, like obviously Visions would be there. Like I think Ben spoke about in his podcast, like coming from the sunny coast, a lot of those boys and surfing Dickie's Reef and waves like that on the coast. There's a few others. I won't name where Ben might have cut his face. There's a few on there. But yeah, it's sick to watch them. And I think every single bodyboarder on the sunny coast has watched them a stupid amount of time.
Favorite section of a bodyboarding film?
Maybe Novian Visions. I think you said that though,
I
Ben.
did.
Hey,
You can't take mine, mate.
what else can I do?
Be original for once, Lockie.
I know. I'm still.
Damn.
I think. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Maybe.
10 seconds remaining.
Oh no, Jono. We'll go Jono.
Yep.
Jono and Visions 2.5,
2.5. Oh, the remake.
the remake.
Yeah.
Clean version.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
legal reasons.
Yeah.
This question might get you pissed off again.
Yeah.
Have you ever been mistaken for someone famous?
No, not really. Okay, so I've forgotten his name. Who's Spider-Man that wears the glasses? What's his name?
Like one of the original Spider-Man?
Where's the glasses?
Yeah. Oh, like in real life. I'm trying to think.
Grant Daniel.
I don't know. Not really. Hey, I'm.
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
All the
that
Spider-Man characters wear glasses.
Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire,
Tom Holland.
Jake
No,
Johnson, Drake Bell. None of them look like they're wearing glasses, man.
All right. Well, there you go. That was probably
It was the one that wore
just
glasses.
bullshit.
The one
Someone
time.
was just writing me off, I guess.
I mean, Rob Schneider wears glasses from the bench warmers. Like,
Juice Bigelow.
Yeah. That'll be it. Nah, not really. Hey,
First bodyboard.
I had a 4-play one, but my first, when I started getting into it, I had a Jake Stone Element OP, and it was the ice blue,
Aqua blue.
Yeah, super light blue. And
So
was it like a silver slick?
38,
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was
White wrap. I don't think it was. I think it was a big
30.
board.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And your
probably-
first one was a 4-play Element bat tail.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, it
I
was.
remember
yeah,
that.
I was
Yeah.
going to say Element. Yeah, that.
And I think they were
Jake
all
Stone.
about 40 or 41s.
Yeah,
They were
I
all
was going way
massive.
too big.
Yeah.
I remember I got up, drop knee, mucking around on that Jake Stone one and put a little hole in my board, and I think I even did cry. I was so rattled that I put a little hole in the deck of the board. I was rattled.
Right for decam.
Yeah, that's right.
Favourite wave?
It'll have to be either Samoa or the Philippines. I'm gonna have to say Philippines.
What about here back home?
It'll be waves in South Oz.
Yep.
Definitely. Moni's is pretty amazing for bodyboarding.
Yep. Favorite surf trip? Same kind of answer, right?
Yeah, same thing. Philippines or Samoa? I don't know. Philippines probably better waves. Samoa was pretty fun.
Favourite move?
Invert for sure. Yeah, I'd like to say air reverse, but
Really?
if you get a nice clean invert, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go with air rev.
Yeah, off a nice wedge or something, a big invert out of the lip, like both legs out of the lip.
How's your air forward game?
Probably not as good as all the others. If you get a perfect air forward and land down the face, that's probably up there with my favourite, but I need to improve on them.
Is it something that if you feel like you're not kind of up to where it should be, do
Yeah,
you spend
for
a lot of
sure.
time in a session just going for it over and over again?
Well,
If the
how many
section
air
presents-
forwards do you do on the sunny coast when it's 1 foot? Like,
Endless.
yeah.
In the wave pool.
I mean, forward spins, yeah.
In
You
the
can get them down, but air forwards are very, very slim on the sunny coast. So unless I'm back traveling, I won't be practicing air forwards for a little bit, let's say.
We actually haven't asked about the wave pool and your trip down there
Oh, yeah, that was...
because all the boys loved it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, what
it
was
was
your
Yeah,
good.
proper Lachlan Cramsie fandom down there, mate.
Ooh.
Oh, mate, yeah, there was some, grown men from Bodyboarding Vic shaking to see a
That was
guy.
you, wasn't it?
It was just me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that was you.
Here to make friends.
Also, you were in a friggin'... What were you in? A springy in
Yep.
14-degree water or
Probably.
something dumb like that. Probably. Actually, no, it was less. It was definitely colder than that. And the weather was miserable, hey. It was like borderline raining. Yeah, wave pool. Well, put it this way. If it could get bigger, it'd be sick. It's fun. It's
just-
a fun novelty. If it could get bigger, it would be
From an
epic.
engineering perspective, there's nothing stopping it from getting bigger. All that stops it is red tape. It's OH&S, it's risk analysis.
And I think when we were there, we were standing next to the takeoff when we first got there, and there's just boards smashing into the wall because so many, people come from the airport that, let's be honest, aren't the best at riding waves, and they just fall off, and there's boards getting smashed up at the wall nonstop. So obviously,
Good
people
place
are
to own
getting
a dig
hurt.
repair workshop.
Yeah. So OH&S. There you go.
Last question, Shane.
No, I think you should ask it. I've got my fingers crossed.
Favourite board?
Well, I won't tell. It won't be a Ben Wells board, seeing as he didn't say it was me. But I'd have to go the Lachlan Cramsie Nomad.
Oh,
Yeah, you're
really?
right.
Would you?
Yeah, tell us about him.
Surprised?
No, a little bit.
Yeah. So, yep. I'm gonna have to definitely say that. It's been a while since I've ridden any other kind of board, but yeah, they're the ones that work perfect when I'm riding waves. So they're the ones I want.
Have you got a bit of a quiver in terms of sizes for different conditions?
Yeah, look, I do for sure. I do. But like not all that much. Like if I'm in bigger waves, you're going softer cores. In colder waves, you're going softer cores as well. But usually sunny coast and waves under 8 foot. I just want to go fast. Like you can stall up for a barrel, but I want to get it, do airs and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you need some stiffness.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, mate. Well, I think we're going to wrap this one up. So, thank you so much, 4-time ABA Pro Tour champion.
Thank you so much
for joining us on the potty today.
Thanks for talking me up at the start and the end of this podcast,
mate,
eh?
Yeah.
And Wellesley, because we've taken Wellesley's entire Black Friday.
Yeah.
I'm just procrastinating. Just procrastinating.
Converted is slowly burning at the moment. but
There's 1,200 online orders to go
Yeah,
over.
It's not too late, mate. You can get down and pack some boxes.
then I look at emails and go, fuck.
Lucky you're driving home, mate. You can just focus on the e-commerce and
Yeah,
his
that's
business.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thanks so much, guys, for having me here. I really appreciate it. Am I doing the closing here?
You're taking over.
Yeah, no, appreciate it.
That's how comfortably he's come.
Yeah.
He's come full circle.
I've opened up, haven't I?
You're like a flower.
Oh,
But mate, I think all of us can agree we're counting down the days till you get your bung eye sorted out.
cool, I can see you.
Yeah, because mate, we want to see you come back bigger than better than ever.
Nah, thanks so much. I'm keen as.
All right. So, yeah, once again, big shout out to everyone that makes the closeout possible. Mark Britton, Sir Michael Jennings, Sammy Watson, Chris Watson, and also Rob Porteous. And also to you, Shane. And thank you so much, Wellesley, for sitting on with special comments.
No dramas.
Cheers, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you. See ya.
You.